In this video, we will learn answers for two famous interview questions. First one, explain about yourself. Second one, what are your roles and responsibilities in the current project? Watch this video till the end to understand answers for these two questions. Hello everyone, I completed 10 years as a software engineer, but still I remember my first interview. That day I was so scared and I was so nervous. I entered into the interview room. Panel member asked me, give me your resume, explain about yourself. I told that my name is Ashok. I completed my BTech from so and so college. My native place is so and so. I completed my Java training. I'm looking for Java developer job. That's it. After that I was not able to speak anything because of that nervousness. Then you can guess the result. I got rejected in that interview. After attending a couple of interviews, I realized how to explain about myself in the interview. And from last few years, I'm taking several interviews in my company as a panel member. And I observed, still many people are not able to explain about themselves in the interview. And if you attend any interview, explain about yourself. Self-introduction is the first question that they are going to ask. Right? So if you are not able to explain about yourself properly in the interview, this video is for you. I'm going to give you 3 simple steps to explain about ourselves in the interview properly. Alright, let's get started. The first step, we need to explain who we are, what is our experience and where we are working. In the second step, we need to explain what are our technical skills, what technologies we have used in our past experience. In third step, we need to explain what is our project and what are our roles and responsibilities. Let us see how we are going to do that. In the first step, hi, my name is Ashok. I am having total 5+ years of experience as a Java full stack developer and currently I am working for so and so organization. And in the second step, I am going to tell that in the last 5 years of time, I got the opportunity to work with several technologies like Java, J2EE, Spring, Spring Boot, REST API, Microservices, AWS Cloud, Oracle Database, MongoDB, and several DevOps tools like Git, Maven, Jenkins, Sonar, Nexus, Docker, Kubernetes, etc. I'm having very good experience with Java and J2EE technologies. I'm having good experience with microservices architecture implementation. I'm having good experience with unit testing for our applications. And I'm having good experience on the application deployment process using Jenkins CI/CD pipelines. I'm having good experience with AWS cloud services like EC2, S3, RDS, Route 53, VPC, etc. That's it. We are going to tell our technical skills in the second step. And coming to third step, we are going to explain what is our project and what are our roles and responsibilities. I'm going to explain like this. Currently, I'm working for banking sector project. So we have several modules in this project and I'm part of credit servicing layer. In this module, we are going to determine citizens' eligibility for the credit card and our system will perform all the credit card operations like bill generations, transactions, statement generations, due reminders, sending the notices to the citizens, all these steps. And my project is following Agile methodology, so I'm responsible for below activities in my project. I will participate in the backlog grooming session to understand what are the pending items in the project. I will participate in the sprint planning session to prioritize the stories of my project. And I'm going to get the functional design document from the functional team. My project functional team is at client location. I will go through the functional design document. I will understand the requirement. If any queries are there on the requirements, then I will set up meeting with my functional team. I will get the clarifications for them. Once all my queries got clarified, then I will start the design part of my project, design part of my requirement basically. I'm going to design database tables which are required for my development. Once the designing is completed, then I will start the development part. I'm responsible to develop the front end as well as back end of my application. Once my development is completed, I will perform a unit testing. Is my code working as expected or not? Once unit testing is completed, then I will perform code review to identify any mistakes that I have done in that. Code review issues I will identify and I will fix them. Once code review issues got fixed, then I will integrate my code with other team members' code in the Git repository. Once the code is integrated, then I will interact with the DevOps team to create the CI/CD pipelines for my project to automate build and deployment process. I will execute those pipelines to deploy a code. Once the code is deployed, I will test that code in the integrated environment like dev environment. If any issues identified, I will fix those issues, then I will inform to the SIT team about the development completed related stuff. Testing team will test the functionality of the complete project, will identify any issues, any bugs they will report. If the bugs are reported, then I will fix those bugs and I will give the bug-free code to the testing team. Our project UAT will happen at the client location. If any issues identified in the UAT, we will analyze the issue is valid or invalid. If it is a valid issue, then we will fix that issue and we will give bug-free code for UAT team as well. And I am also responsible to participate in the production release calls, and I am responsible for fixing any production issues also. So these are the roles and responsibilities of me in the current project. See here, I have divided the self-introduction into 3 parts. Who I am, what is my experience, where I am working. That is the first step. In the second step, I explain what are my technical skills. In the third step, I explain what are my roles and responsibilities. So if you apply this principle to explain about yourself, then interviewer will get very good impression. In this video, we will understand what are the roles and responsibilities of developers in software job. And this is very important interview question also. Alright, let's get started. As a developer, the first thing is we need to understand requirements. We will get the requirements from functional team. Between the development team and the client, functional team will be available. Functional team is responsible to understand the client business and will collect requirements from the client, will prepare requirements document. They will share the requirements document with development team and testing team. As a developer, we need to understand all the requirements given in that document. When we are trying to understand that requirement document, sometimes we will get some confusions and we will get some doubts also. For that, we are going to prepare query log document. Query log is used to write down all the doubts that we have on the requirement. Functional team is responsible to provide clarifications on those doubts. So we need to set up meeting with functional team and we need to discuss our doubts on the requirement. Once functional team clarified all those doubts, then we need to start our actual work on the project. Here, we need to raise a request for DevOps team to create a Git repository or Bitbucket repository. In the team, multiple developers will be available, so we need a repository to integrate all the developers' code at one place. We will raise a Jira request to the DevOps team to create that repository. DevOps team will create that repository and will share the repository details with development team. Along with the repository, we need a Jenkins pipeline to automate build and deployment process of our project. For that also, we need to raise a request for DevOps team using Jira ticket. So DevOps team is responsible to create GitHub repository and Jenkins pipeline. Once those things are completed, then we need to understand database tables required for our project. So as a developer, we need to perform database table design. How many tables we need for our requirement, what are the columns we need, what are the relationships we need to establish to normalize the data that we need to perform. After database design is completed, then we will start our actual development. We need to write the business logic which is required for our project. Based on the given requirement, we need to implement our logic. Once development part is completed, then we need to perform unit testing. Whatever the code we have written, directly we cannot give to the client, right? Whatever the code we have written, is that code working as expected or not? We need to test it. That is called unit testing. Yes, as a developer, you are responsible to develop as well as test the code also. Once your code testing is completed, once you are confident that every line of code is working as expected, then we are going to perform code review. That means whatever the mistakes you have done in the code, it can be a naming convention or it can be the best practices that you are not following. What are the mistakes that you have done in the code can be identified, and is there any chance of getting some bugs in the code can be identified as part of code review. There are several code review tools available in the market. By using them, we can review our code, we can correct our mistakes also by using that code review. Once code review is completed, then code integration. Development team means set of developers will be available. All the developers' code should be integrated at one place. So as we discussed, repository will be available. Maybe GitHub repository or Bitbucket repository. We need to store our code into GitHub repository. Every team member, every developer will store the code into GitHub repository. And we need to make sure that our code, when we are storing into the repository, there should not be any conflict. Our code should not disturb the other developers' code available in the repository. We should be very careful while integrating the code into repository because the project source code is everything. Without source code, there is no project. We should be very careful when we are integrating the code into repository. Remember that other developers' code should not be affected when we are merging our code into repository. Alright, once that is completed, whatever the code we have merged, is that code working as expected or not? When I have done that coding, it worked as expected in my system. Is that code working as expected after integration? Again, we need to test it. That's where dev environment comes into picture. As a developer, we need to deploy our code in the dev environment. For that, Jenkins job will be created by DevOps team. We need to send that request for the DevOps team, right? We will send the request for the DevOps team to create the Jenkins pipelines which are required for our application. So Jenkins pipeline we need to execute to run our code in the dev environment. Once the code is deployed in the dev environment, we need to perform integration testing. Is our code working as expected or not after that code is integrated? As part of that integration testing, we may get some issues also. And as a developer, we are responsible to fix those issues. That is called developer integration testing. We will also call it as DIT. Once our developer integration testing is completed, then our code will be promoted to SIT environment. SIT nothing but system integration testing, which will be done by testing team. How the development team is available, similarly testing team also will be available for the project. They will also test our code. Right. As part of that SIT, they may find some bugs in the code. Whatever the bugs they identified in the SIT, they will report those bugs by using Jira, that is a bug reporting tool they will use it as. Whatever the bugs that are identified and reported, as a developer we need to fix those bugs and we need to provide bug-free code for testers. Once complete project testing is completed, if all the issues are rectified, if everything is working as expected, then SIT team, I mean to say QA team, will provide certified code, certification. So they will approve our code as SIT passed. Once our code is passed in the SIT, then our code will be promoted to UAT. UAT stands for User Acceptance Testing. UAT will be done by client or client side team. So they will again test our application. Is it working as expected or not? If any issues occurred in the UAT, we need to support, we need to fix those issues also as part of that bug fixing. Once UAT is completed, then pre-prod staging environments will be available. After that, code will be promoted to production environment. Production environment is the final environment of our application. The code which is deployed in the production environment will be accessed by end users. Right. When end users are accessing our application, there is a chance of getting some issues. Those are production issues. Production issues are very critical. If you don't fix the production issue, client business will be stopped. We need to give a lot of high priority for production issues. As a developers, we need to troubleshoot why that issue occurred, what is the root cause of that issue. By using logs of the application, we are going to troubleshoot the problem and we need to fix that problem. So you should know how to monitor the logs of the application by using log monitoring tools like Splunk or ELK or Putty. Some softwares are available. Log monitoring skill is also very, very important because there is a chance of getting some issues in the project when it is executing in the higher environment. To understand those issues, logs we need to monitor and we need to fix that problem. The production support also we have to provide. And once our project development and testing everything is completed, we need to prepare the documentation for the project. What is the project architecture? What are the modules available? What is the purpose of each module? And what is the execution flow of the project? What is the database design of the project? Those documents will help for the new people to understand how our project is developed and how our project is working. The bootcamp documents we have to prepare for our project. And we need to provide KT for the new team members. So when the new team member joins in the project, we need to explain them our project architecture, our project development process, project modules, project database, project execution flow. All that information we need to share with our team members. That is called KT. As a developer, we need to provide that KT also. And next one is trainings, in-house trainings. For your project, if any new framework or a new API is required, we need to do that analysis. What we need to implement some POC also, proof of concept. Yes, this concept is working as expected. This can be used in our project to improve the performance of the project. Such kind of research and development we need to do, and whatever the research we do on the project and on the new technologies, we need to share with our team members, and we can share with the broader audience also. We can provide in-house trainings. If you give such kind of in-house trainings, then you will get very good impression from your managers or your higher management people. If you get that such kind of good impression, that will helpful for you in the mid-year reviews to get the good promotions and to get the good hikes. Alright, and along with that, very frequently we need to connect with our higher management to understand how we are contributing to the project, how we are working in the project, what is the feedback on our work, and we need to discuss with the management, and we need to take their inputs also to improve ourselves, and to get into the next level we need to take the inputs from our management. According to those inputs, we need to contribute and we need to perform in the project. I hope you understood what are the roles and responsibilities of developers in the software job. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel and click on bell icon for more videos.